Hello everyone, and welcome to RNG University. On tonight's episode, Golgari Baloth. So, if you remember from the olden days of first rendition of Modern, where Liliana was tearing up the metagame, there was a card that's included in almost every Jund deck as a response, and that was Obstinate Baloth. The card that whenever your opponent makes you discard it, it just comes into play instead. Now, in today's metagame, there are actually, in a standard metagame, there are actually two cards that make you discard Baloth. There is a Liliana of the Veil, which if your opponent plays it, they will make you discard it for sure. But there's also the Graveyard Trespasser, so that if we try to kill the Graveyard Trespasser, instead of getting a 2-for-1 on our opponent's side, so that our opponent gets 2 of our cards for 1 of theirs, we're gonna get a 2-for-1 on our side, because instead of killing 1 of their card, we're gonna kill 1 of their card and get 1 of our creature into play. So I guess that's the idea. Not technically a 2-for-1, but it brings the Baloth out, right? And against burn decks, against more aggressive decks, Baloth's somewhat useful because it's a 4-mana 4/4 body that also gains you 4 life. Now, it's not great, it's not the best card in the world, but it could work, and I kind of slotted into this deck to make sure that it has room to kind of live. And now let's look at the whole deck list. It's a Golgari deck list, but it is very, very heavily mono black, as we saw in the Orzhov play. Even though you're using a 2-color deck, making it mostly mono black makes it a lot stronger. And that's what this deck is aiming to do. And look at the deck list. We have a lot of early game removal and creature tempo. So we have 3 cut down, 2 duress, and 4 evolved sleeper as our 1-drop, so that we can get into the hands of control mages. We can remove creatures for aggressive players. And we can put out Evolved Sleeper against decks like Mono Blue, so that we can continuously deal damage if we need to. Then in the 2-drop category, we got 3 Go for the Throw and 2 Sheoldred's Edict. We got a lot of removal that way, so that we're not falling behind. It's just like playing the Mire, where you're trying to fight for the board 1-for-1, but when you're trying to fight for the board 1-for-1 in a Golgari deck, you can actually kind of have a more stability, because you're not hoping to counter a big spell, you're just hoping to overrun them with good value. Now, again, not necessarily going to be great in the long run, but in the mid-range, this should work well enough. And then we have 2 Tenacious Underdog, the definite card advantage card, because we can keep blitzing him out, which is a spell to play every turn that also draws us a card. We lose 2 life whenever we blitz out the underdog, but that's fine, because in Golgari, we have a lot of ways to gain life. We have 1 Terra Thunder, just in case we're playing against enchantment. This is going to be pretty useful, but even if we're not playing against enchantment, this is not a dead card, because we can kick it to just exile any permanent. Then in the 3-drop, we got 4 Liliana and 4 Glissa Sunslayer. Definitely best 3-drops in Golgari. Glissa will be able to first strike and kill attackers, or attack and first strike to kill blockers. We can also draw a card whenever we deal damage to a player, or destroy an enchantment, or remove 3 counters. Liliana also can have that dual effect of discarding cards for control players and sacrificing creatures for aggressive players. Now, when it comes to Liliana, the main thing you got to remember is it does not synergize with your own Obstinate Baloth, right? So if you discard it with your own Liliana, it doesn't come into play. So you got to be a little careful about that. And then we have 1 Celestus, just so that we can get more life, more mana, and have a turn 3 play if we don't draw these 3. Now, I don't really think Celestus is that important. You can also just replace this with another land, so that you have 26 instead of 25 lands. The 2 each is on, and I like to play Celestus because I like to be able to cycle cards in those dead matchups where some of the cards may not be useful. Against a control deck, cut downs and go for the throw probably aren't going to be that useful. So, and then we have 4 Sheoldred. Of course, we're going to need to have 4 Sheoldred to have a win con. And then for Obstinate Baloth, I talked about it, it's an inclusion in the deck as a tech inclusion in today's metagame. And if the Mire is actually the king, well, Obstinate Baloth's going to have something to say about that, because whenever they play Liliana, I'm not just kind of locked out of the game, which happens a lot whenever I face Liliana, but it never happens whenever I play my own. So I don't know what's going on. And then we have 1 Sheoldred, the big Sheoldred, so that we can have a sort of a bigger win con. I don't know if including big Sheoldred is necessary, but I think it could be flipped for that ult effect in the long run against a slower deck. I just don't think it's that necessary. So you can change this to another card if you want. You can have a Vorinclex. You can have a Breach the Multiverse. It's just I want to have a sort of a top end at 5. Then if we look at the land base, even though we're kind of low to the ground curve-wise, we still want 25 lands because I don't like being mana screwed. So here's 5 swamps, 4 forests with mostly black, 1 Takenuma, 1 Boseiju, 4 Deathcap Glade, 4 Jungle Hollow, 4 Llanowar Wastes, pretty standard sort of Golgari color, and then 2 Mirex because we always want Mirex to help us against aggro decks, or sorry, against control decks. To aggro control decks is what I meant to say. All right, let's go and try out our Golgari deck in the standard rank. If your timer fuse run down and you don't have a time extension, you shouldn't have time extensions. There should be 1 fuse. Those multiple fuses are annoying to play against because a lot of people just roll. We go first. We got a swamp. All right, that's a good keep. Let's keep. Hello. There's an Evolve Sleeper. We also can play Jungle Hollow turn 2 because we probably won't need 2 black mana next turn. Alright, well. Grow. Jungle Hollow. Alright, the next part is going to be kind of annoying because our opponent is going to hold up a counterspell. Yeah, there it is. Hold up a counterspell. Liliana's gonna get countered. Gotta play it though. You gotta force out the... Oh, not a counterspell. That's interesting. So, what I was saying, you gotta force out the counterspells. Otherwise, they'll have a turn to, cast their bounce spells or whatever, and or draw spells. The worse.
You're telling me what you know.
We're gonna start making them discard.
I'm tired of your secrets.
Alright, we're gonna keep making him discard. Yep. We don't need to cut down in this deck. Well, we do need to cut down in this deck, but we don't need to cut down against our opponent. That's not the right play, because now I'm free to do whatever I want, which is play another creature.
Don't overthink things.
And even if he plays Jhin, he can't get out of this. If he plays Terror, I don't think he can get out of either. Liliana's just going to make him sack. Okay, so he's got 2 mana. Do I want to make him discard? Do I attack first? What can he do? This is first strike, right? So I don't want to attack first. I want to... Can he phase out the Terror, though? You know what? Sacrifice a creature. Gonna march all of my creatures. That's interesting. So I can't attack this turn, but he will sacrifice. Well, he will protect the Tolarian Terror, and he'll come back. So I don't want him to come back. Sacrifice creature, anyways. And then we can grow. This could be a 3/3.
Haven't you ever heard?
I play the land because if I draw another land, I don't want to just discard it. Thirst, that's not good enough. I mean, he could have bounces and stuff. It's a bit annoying, but he is taxing all of his lands so that he has less place. Oh, I don't want to make him discard. Oh, he can't really counter this, right? Yeah, he can't really counter this. He's got 1 mana. You can consider. You consider. You consider the heck out of that. Alright, now discard a card. Gotta do it first, because otherwise I'll draw a card and
We all
it's
have things we'd rather
gonna get discarded.
forget.
Mono blue. I hate you. Alright, we draw a card and lose 1 life. That's fine, we gain 2 life. So it's actually a plus. He's at 6 because he has to draw first. And then whatever way he tries to get out of it require him to draw cards, which with Sheoldred on board, it will tax him out. If he bounces Sheoldred, he's gonna have less mana. So yeah, Liliana is very oppressive. As you can see, it forces your opponent to make plays because their cards are just gonna get discarded. And the way they play is definitely wrong. You can see that they tried to draw a Curate instead of stopping my Liliana, and that was what cost them the game. But of course, I don't know their hand. They may not have any counterspells, and if they don't, they're just playing the deck wrong. You should always have counterspells in a mono blue Jin deck. If you don't draw your counterspells, you're playing the deck wrong. So yeah, remember that. Now we're gonna fight, I don't know, it's still loading. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. Thanks, Gandalf. Fucking Silverback? Is he mono green? He's Silverback? I don't know. He's Teferi, so I think he's bluish. Alright, we don't have a turn 1 play, so the hollow is fine. I don't know. We keep drawing jungle hollow. We have removal. Not fast removal, but removal anyways. Yeah. Yeah, we got out of the jungle hollow. We're 2 turns behind now. We're going second, and then we have 2 tap lands to play out. So that's not great, but you know what? Do I want an underdog? I don't want an underdog. I want to duress him first. Yeah, gotta get those invasions out. The invasions are scary. Topiary Stomper is gonna stomp us. Alright, if I play a Glissa, it gets Leyline Binded. Then we tear Thunder, and it gets Leyline Binded again. Or we play an Underdog, and the Underdog gets Leyline Binded. I don't know if he's going to Leyline Bind an Underdog, honestly. Did he draw his Invasion, though? This is such a good draw. If I didn't have Duress, I would have already lost. So, yeah, I don't want to run the Glissa out just into a Leyline Binding. You already have 1, 2, 3... 4. He already have 4. No, he has 1. He has all 5. So he already have the domain. Ossification, huh? Alright, we're gonna evolve Sleeper out. I mean, I don't think the Glissa is ever gonna get past the Leyline Binding anyways, so maybe I just play here. Get it? Leyline Binded? Leyline Binded. I guess. Yeah. It is what it is. Alright, there's a lot of lands we're drawing, so I maybe force out the second Leyline Binding with Sheoldred. If I attack here, would he block? Oh, well, he can't block, right? But always attack first. Alright, well, here's Sheoldred. Death to the Topiary Stomper? Not great, but pretty sure he's gonna Leyline Bind this. Yeah. Create a Murex token. At 1 poison. We have a lot of lands. I mean, I don't really need to deal this 1 damage. What I want to do is kill his Leyline Binding at instant speed. I'm gonna pretend like I'm gonna block. Make him make the Murex token and then reply that way, or respond that way. Double attack? Let me grow this once. It looks like there's a stick, but it could be the stick from the Murex. Third Leyline Binding. Well, let's let that resolve first, and then we will exile this Leyline Binding. Does he have 4th Leyline Binding? That's the question, right? Path to blocker. We'll block one of those. Go to my turn. Alright, Glissa, do your thing. Maybe. I don't think you can block it, so let's start destroying enchantments. Here comes Sheoldred. Now, he is 1 mana away from the tally, right? He has 2 red? Yeah, he's 1 mana away from the tally. That's a bit scary. I hope he doesn't get anything good. He's definitely gonna get a useful card from my deck with the tally here. Gotta be a little bit careful. He just needs to top deck a land. But luckily, a lot of his lands are tap lands. Okay, coward. Just quit. You're like 1 land away from a tally. Probably all 7 drop in his hand. That's my bet. So yeah, it was a good duress on our part, and we got through that okay. We didn't get to show off our ballot. We didn't play any counter deck, or not counter deck, discard decks anyways, but we also never drew the ballot. So, hey, that's what happens when I try to showcase cards. Never works out. Kaioshin, I'm pretty sure it's either mono red or some sort of aggro deck. Soldiers or mono red. Anyways, we got 2 lands. Just when I said no ballots, right? 2 lands with a sleeper and a Glissa. I just need to draw 1 more land, huh? Yeah, alright. Let's see it. Blue. Alright, you know, forget everything I said about any part of the game, because there's just gonna be another mono blue. I mean, when you see a Johnny, I think it's usually some sort of aggro or cheap deck. Yeah. Cheap and annoying deck. Oh, hey, maybe there are soldiers. I don't know what this is. Can't play Deathcap Glade. Can't grow the Evolved Sleeper. It's a double strike. So, I'll just take the double strike. Maybe I'll just take the double strike. I will play... there's no reason to play the Deathcap Glade right here, right? Let's duress him first so I know what I'm doing. What? Double March, 1 Fading Hope, and 2 Drakes. That's interesting. Well, I mean, I don't think he's going to use Double March. Let's take out 1 his March. Alright, this is going to be interesting. He's probably going to play Drake here. No land. Okay, Homestead Courage. Gonna deal that damage. Very scary. Here's a Glissa. Oh, I'll probably get bounced. But, you know, it is what it is. This is Vigilance? Oh, Homestead Courage gave it Vigilance. Yep. 1 to the top, so he gets his land. Is he gonna... He didn't use his Homestead Courage. So, it's another 4 damage, and then he's gonna play the Drake. Terra Thunder. Well, let's see here. He can Terra Thunder a lot of cards. And I don't want to do that. Let's play the Baloth so we gain some life. Alright, what can he do next turn? So he can make this a 4, or make this a 3. What he wants to do is probably target a Drake so he draw cards. But Sheoldred basically makes his draw more painful. Can he kill Sheoldred with this? This is going to be 3. And then double strike? That's fine. It's a tricky game when I have all the removals and barely draw any. I knew he was going to do that. But the Sheoldred attacks him a little bit. Just 3 damage, huh? I mean, it's not really that much damage. Another Drake. We'll gain that life. Now the question is, what do I want to do here? Right? Because the Evolved Sleeper, it's kind of dead. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of these cards are kind of dead against this wonky deck. Now, we're gonna take 5. We'll go down to 5. The March wouldn't really do anything against us because it will come back on our turn. So he could March our creature and then get the Twin Blade in, right? And that would be his plan. So I need to gain some life out of that, or I will exile one of his creatures if he March my creature. Exile the Twin Blade? No, that's not good enough. I'll give him 4 life here. When I need my cut downs, I get this kind of card. Really annoying, huh? I don't need to aggro him just yet. Gotta be a little bit patient because, you know, the backswing might kill me. No reach is painful though. Security bypass, okay. That means he's only drawing, or he's only attacking with 1 card. I think this connives, right? Yeah, it connives, which, I mean, it's gonna deal more damage to him. Courage. You can only attack with a bypass if you want to draw. I mean... Alright, all these cards are okay. Not great, but okay. We're gonna attack him for 4. That means that if he draws any card next turn, he dies. He'll probably try to March Sheoldred. That's my thinking. If I attack him for 4, will he just double block? That's interesting. Well, will he just block with the Twin Blade, is what I'm saying. And then he'll cast Disturb on the Stormcaster Drake, right? Let's see what he does. He has to block something. Blocks a Baloth. It's gonna March my Sheoldred, I guess. That's a really questionable play, because now, if he casts the Twin Blade on the Stormcaster Drake, he just dies. So I'm very confused about that. I'm gonna let him do it. If he tries to March, I will exile his Drake. He can't target the March on his Drakes because the Sheoldred will kill him. He just marches one thing, taps himself out, so we will kick this to exile the Drake. So he can make this a 3, and then double strike, so 6 damage. Not quite dead. Can he do something to pump it for... He needs to make this a 5, which I don't think he can do. One blue mana. Huh? Huh? Shore up. What does this do? +1/+1. Alright, it's 4. He can almost do it if he has a land and another shore up. Two. Anything else? Try to bounce my Sheoldred? No. Okay. Well, before I go to my turn, let's evolve. Quit. GG. Ah, you were close. I don't commend you for playing an aggro deck, but I commend you for trying. You know, against my deck. We were pretty close there. He would have probably killed us if he had a good counterspell, or if our duress did not hit anything, then he would have an extra card to really stomp us. Baloth, right? I mean, it didn't get its intended play, but it gained us that 4 life. And that you saw at the end, we have 4 life. So, or actually, we had 2 life. So yeah, if we didn't play Baloth, we would have died. Against aggro deck, it's nothing. Press Control key or Command key and not read the rest. And then Legolas says something, but I didn't get to read it because we're playing against JSN11. It's a Fairy Avatar. I already don't like him. It's usually when you play against a Fairy Avatar, it's some aggro deck. I don't know. We'll think about it. This is a very bad hand. Funny enough, we got Evolve Sleeper into nothing turn 2. So hopefully Evolve Sleeper lives. Otherwise, we gotta wait till turn 4 for Sheoldred. But against aggro, Sheoldred's gonna be okay. Against control, we're gonna have some time. So let's say hi. Let's hope they're not mid-range. They mold to 6. It is control. Alright. So we'll play Mirix. We'll play our sleeper. Yeah, nobody ever seen this Mirix turn 1 sleeper play. I don't know if he has a bounce spell, but he might have a removal. I think he has a removal, so I'm not going to pump it. Just extra damage that I don't need. Siphon Insight, interesting. Well, we have some good cards, but not really against our own deck. Let's see what he takes. Because if he takes Baloth, he can't actually discard it. So it's not that great. If he takes Liliana, it might help us get... Oh, it's Esper. Ew. Alright, it's a degenerate control deck, so... I'm going to hope that we can get out of it somehow with our nice shuffler hand. So we need 2 black mana this turn, which means that Jungle Hollow probably won't do anything. Well, Deathcap Glade probably won't do anything. We can play Jungle Hollow. Alright, and he's probably just gonna use the backside of the Siphon Insight again, yeah? Steel our deck. Very good against our slow hand. Well, our opponent only has 1 white mana, so no Emperor's coming out next turn. That's good. Gonna kill the Sleeper. Sleeper's dead. Alright, he's got 3 mana, so it's a lot of counterspell held up. Do we Mirix? Or do we play out Sheoldred? I don't think we play out Sheoldred. He's got 3 cards left, right? Maybe I'll just force out a counterspells, because we don't have counterspells in our deck. But he took 2 of our cards. Those could be removal. Yeah, none of these are our lands. Oh, actually, I can see those 2 cards. What am I thinking? Let us just play Mirix. No, we got Sheoldreds. We have 3 Sheoldreds. Let's play something out. Didn't get any removal. Interesting. Alright, now he could have 2, right? Or now he could have Emperor, so I don't want to play into an Emperor. Okay, that was a mistake. I should have played a Glade first. Didn't think about it too much, but he could definitely have a counterspell.
Brunch. I'm tired of your secrets.
Lots of Sheoldred, some of those can go. And guess what? I'm not going to attack into an Emperor. Memory Deluge, that's pretty good. Because I didn't attack into the Emperor, he had another play. he did take on land, so those are bad takes, I'm guessing. Do we just drop our last Sheoldred? Do we attack first into a potential Emperor? I don't want to attack into an Emperor, right? Do I? He plays Emperor, exiles my Sheoldred. I play another Sheoldred. Discard Liliana, we can discard a card. We're still ahead, and he's down an Emperor. He definitely has Stick. So, if he has Stick, would it be another card draw card?
Don't overthink things.
Oh, he discarded his land to play my land. I guess it is because the Liliana is making him discard. So, I'm just gonna not play anything. There is the Emperor.
I am the Emperor of Kamigawa, and I will protect my guards. To me!
He can't stop my Sheoldred, so it's good for now.
We must protect.
He has
the
his
people.
Mirix. Do we attack the Emperor down, or do we hold back to block? There's a lot of cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He does have 7, so let's make him discard. Maybe he will want to flash back the memory deluge.
We all have things we'd rather.
Another Emperor. Let's play Glissa. He wants to counter it, but if he counter it, he has no cards in his hand. And we will not attack. There's a memory deluge. Degenerate Control. This is kind of a deck is so very annoying to play against. This is also why aggro exists, because you don't want to play against this deck with anything else. And you're usually going to just be... no matter how far ahead you think you are, it takes one turn for them to swing back at you and then lose it for you to lose everything. I got to be very careful with how I'm playing this. I guess our, depending on how he wants to attack, because our Liliana might just bite it next turn. Plus
I have got new moves to
attacks.
teach you.
Interesting. I'm guessing he wants to kill my Glissa with another Emperor, but I'm okay with that because that forced him to play another Emperor. Alright, GG. I guess. Because next turn Liliana's going to ult. Alright, so this game was already ours because our opponent has no heart. He has 4 cards. There's definitely place. Or 5 cards, one of mine. But here is what I was going to do next turn, just so that I have some discussion about why 5 lands is winning against 7. Or actually 8 lands. Or 7 right now. So here's my plan. Once I get to my turn, because he's out of attacks, what Liliana is going to do is I'm going to separate into 2 piles. One pile is going to contain these 2 creatures and a Plane, Jungle Hollow, and a Mirix. The other pile is going to be these 4 lands and the Wandering Emperor. So if the Wandering Emperor stays with these 4 lands, which is what he wants, these 4 lands, he's only got 1 white, which means he cannot board wipe or play another Emperor on us very soon, and we have creatures to be able to kill his Emperor. On the other hand, if he keeps all of these, and not the Emperor and not these lands, he will have 2 creatures, well, one of them is going to die, or actually both of them are going to die unless he protects it somehow, and what's going to happen is that he's going to have useless lands. So that's my plan for next turn, but of course he doesn't want to see that happen since Liliana is very oppressive. That's why Baloth is supposed to be useful. And we didn't get to show off the Baloth against Liliana, but I'm sure that when that actually happens, opponents will just quit. All the music are gone. Interesting. And it's back. So, this is the Golgari Baloth deck. I think it's very strong, right? We won every game today, and mostly because I am an amazing player, and every card I drew were impactful. So yeah, that was great. I'm so good at Magic. But to be honest though, this deck I do think has legs. I think it's very strong in the current meta game because all we see are super aggro decks, which mean we have a lot of removal and Baloth to gain life and Sheoldred to gain life to stop those super aggro decks. We also have kind of super control-y decks, but super control-y decks are not very good against Evolved Sleepers since it's kind of a worthless card for them to really try to remove. We have Underdog to keep getting us card draw. We have Liliana to take out their cards. And then against Enchantment, well, Glissa is very good against Enchantment. And you saw how Glissa was just there to stop, what would they have, like 4 or 1 Ossification and 3 Leyline Binding. And we just stick 1 Glissa and our opponent just didn't want to keep going with that because it's going to pick out the Leyline Binding one by one until they have nothing left. So yeah, this is a very fun deck to play against today's metagame. I think it's very strong, even though it has no burn, it has no counterspell, it has no board wipe. That's amazing. But that is what I kind of came to the conclusion of in this deck. That's all I got for you today. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.